Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Emma in elementary and I'm excited for us to dive into how to first days of school. I have seen many recently graduated first year teachers saying that they aren't quite sure what to do during those first couple of days of school. Now, these days are vital to building a classroom environment that you and your students thrive in, and you want to establish relationships, build rapport, and go over routines and procedures. We're going to get into all of it today, so let's go. In this video, I'm going to show you what things you should be doing during those first couple of days of school and throw in some fun activity ideas that you may want to implement as well. Let's get into it. First and foremost, you want your students to come into your classroom on the first day and feel like they belong. This is a message that I love to display in my classroom so that my students can get excited and feel welcomed as they enter and get started in the new school year. I would like to quickly mention that all of the slides that you'll see here in this video are available on my TPT, M, and LMN, all as seen here for $15 total. The link to my TPT store is in the description below. This is an example of what my daily slides look like for my students. I like displaying a morning message with their special for the day, homework, and for fun, what the national day is. This is a resource that I got in undergrad, The Shapes Here, which is a website called Which One Doesn't Belong, and it is a great way to get the students thinking for the day and gets those wheels turning. I do keep the students' to-do list short and concise, which is the way to keep things in the teaching world. And then I have a theme each day for morning meeting. Mondays happen to be Memory Mondays. I also display what their voice level should be at the bottom of the slides. I personally didn't find having voice levels on my whiteboard very effective in controlling their volume my first year. If your school has some sort of behavior matrix, I highly recommend having your students say some kind of mantra every day, like this one that I use. This sets the tone for the day and gives students the proper mindset coming into the school year. So you really want to start this from day one. I read the black words and they read the colorful words. No matter what age group you work with, it is really important that you hold your students to high expectations. Something that I don't think I did enough my first year of teaching was holding those expectations high. And I thought, well, they're just kids and, it's okay. I'll let them get away with it. No, girl. Hold those high expectations. They should know what they are expected to do, and you need to follow through with what you say is going to happen if they don't. Your students will get to know you really well throughout the school year, and you will get to know them really well too. It'll probably surprise you by the end of the year how much you all know each other. It is good to put together some kind of slideshow to introduce yourself to your students. You don't need to share too much, just your hobbies, family, favorites, things like that, so they can get a good introduction. Then you'll want to give your students the opportunity to tell the class about themselves. Now, it is very possible that a lot of the students already know each other, but you don't know them all yet, and it's also possible that there's new students in your room that they don't know anybody. So now we're going to get into some housekeeping items. You'll want to give your students a tour of the classroom. This will be their second home for an entire year, and they need to know what areas are theirs, what areas are yours, and how certain things work. Some things in particular to go over during your classroom tour are your student center, if you have one, a turn-in bin, or how students turn in their work, an absent folder, if you have one, and your classroom library expectations. How should they be treating the books? Do you have a sign-in, sign-out book system? Things like that. Also, keep in mind that the students do not need to get up and walk around during this. They can stay in their seats. If you want them to get up and walk around, that's completely up to you, but I keep mine in their seats. Here are a few read alouds that I like doing at the beginning of the school year. The Shannon Olson ones are gold to get your students feeling secure in your classroom for the year. And then the Interrupting Chicken is a great lesson to teach your students not to call out. I pair this read aloud with the tallies that you see here at the bottom, and I use them as a classroom management method. These tallies are available for purchase on my TPT if you would like them. I don't like to have quote-unquote rules in my classroom, so we create a class contract. I have students brainstorm expectations that we all should follow, myself included, for the year. The questions that you see here guide them as they brainstorm. After they do that part, they get to share their ideas, and I write them down on an anchor chart, at least the few that we decide agreeing on, which everybody signs, including me. And then I hang it up, and we refer to it throughout the year as needed. After establishing the expectations that the class should be following, it is important that you explicitly explain both positive and negative consequences to their actions. As you can see here, I have a system for both that builds as time goes on, which gives students a chance to make good choices before they get in serious trouble if they're on that negative side. It also gets them excited when they're seeing the positive side and seeing what kinds of things could happen if they are making good choices. And pro tip, if you have a student that is showing a lot of behavior concerns, you'll want to document every single thing that they do and say and what actions you have taken in response to those things. Go ahead with that data, reach out to your school's MTSS coordinator or whatever person you have that does referrals for behavior needs. So if they need to get on some sort of BIP or plan or 504, you have the proof and you are backed up. After going over your consequences, it's good to show your students what things they may be seeing throughout the school year so that they can be prepared. This will get them excited for making good choices because they can see that, oh, maybe I'll get some happy mail sent home and my mom will see it, or my dad will see it, or my grandma will see it. Or, oh, if I get X amount of dojo points, I get some free time. And then also it can make them nervous about making bad choices because no child wants that think sheet sent home because their parent has to sign it. And that think sheet is available on my TPT if you are interested in that as well. This one I made is specifically for upper elementary. One of the most important things that you can do in those first couple days is to dive into your routines and procedures explicitly with a lot of detail. You want something for everything, from the bathroom to the hallway to recess to pencils to drills to arrival and dismissal. Every single thing you need to go over. I put mine in the slideshow and I give them a fun little pop quiz afterward to see what they remember. For older students, it could also be a good idea to make them take it over and over again until they get a 100, just for fun. The last housekeeping item that I recommend going over in those first days is class jobs. You want to make sure that students understand what the different jobs are that you offer, how often you change them, I do mine quarterly, and what it means for them to have that responsibility. I even give my students a chance to be promoted or fired depending on their performance, and they take it pretty seriously. Finally, let's get into some fun activities that you can do on the first days of school. The first activity that I love to do on the first day is to have students write a letter to their future self. I go over how to write a letter and the parts of the letter, and then I give them 20 minutes to write something to their future selves. These letters will be turned in and kept in a safe place, and I give them out at the very end of the school year. It's just really exciting if you've ever read a letter from your past self to see where you were at then and where you're at now. And it's even more exciting for kids because it feels like it's been forever since the first day. And a template for this activity is available on my TPT. Personality Rainbows is an activity that I came up with when I was in undergrad, and it is a great way for students to express who they are in a fun way that just so happens to match my classroom theme, which is rainbows. And I like to hang these up for the duration of the year. They take them back at the end of the year. Instructions for this activity are also available for free on my TPT. The All About Me bags are just like show and tell, except the students bring in 3 to 5 items instead of just one. They need to be big enough or small enough to fit into the one paper bag, and I give students an entire week to fill it, and then they share it at the end of the week. The last activity that I want to share with you is Find Someone Who, which is also for free on my TPT. This gives students the chance to walk around and get to meet new people, which is especially helpful for new students. That is all that I have to share with you today in How To First Days of School. I wish you the best of luck and hope that you were able to get some ideas from this video. Don't forget, you can purchase these slides as seen in this video on my TPT for just $15. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.